everybody, welcome back to Meals with Marsha. Today I'm going to be making some homemade lasagna. I'm excited to show you this. This is my son John Travis's favorite. He always requests this like for special occasions for his birthday or just any kind of time. Anytime we're having lasagna, John Travis is happy. So I can't wait to show you. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing I wanted to show you is I went ahead like on Saturday and I made my spaghetti sauce. Now my spaghetti sauce is not homemade. It is semi-homemade. What I do is I buy the Hunt's brand traditional spaghetti sauce. You can buy whatever kind you want. I buy the two jars or cans of that, the tall cans. And then I just brown my ground beef with onions and I season it with salt and pepper, drain the grease off, then I add that in there. Then I add, I doctor it up is what Mama used to call it. I put a little cinnamon, a little sugar in there, extra Italian seasoning, and I let that simmer together. And then I just cool it and I put it in a container and I just put it in the refrigerator. So you can eat this for with spaghetti, noodles if you wanted spaghetti, or you can use it for lasagna. I just use the same basic recipe. Now I have this on my YouTube channel. It's one of my older recipes that I've shared, how to make the spaghetti sauce. It is on my YouTube channel, so if you want to check that out. But anyway, I went ahead and done that. It's been in the refrigerator. And what else I have done is I bought some lasagna noodles. My family does not like the oven-ready lasagna noodles. I think they seem a little mushy when you use those. Those are the kinds that you don't have to boil first. So I always buy the kind you have to boil because my family doesn't really like that. And then I have to make the filling for the lasagna. Now I use the whole fat ricotta cheese, the whole milk ricotta cheese. Some people like to use cottage cheese, if I can talk. They like to use cottage cheese. My family doesn't like the thickness of that. They like the more creaminess of the ricotta. But what I do is I get a container and I put it in here. All of it in there. And this is a 15-ounce container. And then I do 1 egg. Okay. And then I take some evaporated milk. I'm a huge evaporated milk fan, guys. If you ever watch any of my videos, I'm going to be using evaporated milk. And I do what I call stab the top, and I stab it and make a hole here and a hole here, and you can just keep reusing this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this in there, maybe a couple of tablespoons, and then I'm going to stir it up with a fork. Let me grab a fork and see what kind of consistency, because it needs to be a consistency that's going to spread easily, not a chunky consistency. See if I can see what I got here. And I will try to put the exact measurements in the description when I post this video, so you will know. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty creamy. I might do just a little bit more. Maybe just a smidge more. So probably about 2 tablespoons of evaporated milk. And just stir that in because you want it to be like a creamy, spreadable consistency. You don't want it to be too thick or it won't spread easy. So it's kind of what you want it to look like right there, okay, guys? All right, and then I just like to sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese in there, maybe a couple of tablespoons, and then we're going to sprinkle some parsley. And this is to your liking. Some people don't like a lot of parsley. Some people do. I just like to see those green flecks in there, so maybe a half a teaspoon of parsley. And we're going to stir this up. And that's what it looks like, guys, and it's that creamy, spreadable consistency. I'm going to set that aside. Now, I've got to get my noodles ready because I've already boiled them. What I did is I just salted my water and I boiled 8 of the long noodles, just the regular lasagna noodles, and I've been letting them cool. And I boiled them for 9 minutes in salted water. Now, what I'm doing today is I normally do a 9x13 pan, but it's just me, my husband, and John Travis here at home now. My daughter's grown and she has her own family, and we're not having any guests over, so I'm going to make 2 pans. I'm going to make 1 pan for us to have this week to eat, and then I'm going to make another pan for us to put in the freezer and we can have again. So we're going to get 2 meals out of this. Now, another thing that you could think about is like, maybe you don't want to do, a whole pan because you're not going to eat it all, and you want to do a second pan. You may have a friend that's had surgery or can't get out and, or whatever, or not able to cook, or somebody in your church or whatever. You can take that to them and give them the baking instructions on top, and that'd be amazing. And it also freezes very well. So if you don't have anybody to give it to and you just want later for another meal, you can just cover it real full, and I'll talk about that before we end, and you can just freeze that and you have another meal. So anyway, I try to stretch my food and make the best of it. The way the prices of groceries are nowadays, it is hard not to do that. There's just a lot of people that struggle to make sure they have enough, and so I try to share what I can, and I also, like I said, try to stretch a meal if we're not going to eat it all, share it with someone or save it for a second meal. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my pans with nonstick cooking spray. It's just the canola oil, whatever kind you want. I'm going to spray that just so it won't stick. Now, I'm going to have to start cutting my noodles, and what I usually do is, if I'm doing a 9 by 13 pan, the noodles will stretch pretty much, and then you'll have one that you put at the end. But this is I'm probably going to have to cut them in half, I think. So I'm probably just going to cut some of these in half and see where that leaves us. See how that works. I think it's going to work okay. Let me look here. Well, yeah, maybe. We'll work it out. We'll make it work. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer of my spaghetti sauce in the bottom. Now, I'll try not to make a mess. I've never cooked without making a big old mess. So, y'all watch and see. Probably about 2 scoops, because we're going to layer this. Maybe 2.5. We're going to layer this twice, okay? And you're just going to spread that out on the bottom of your pan. Just like this. Okay, make it even. And really, truthfully, making your spaghetti sauce ahead is easier because it seems like it gets a thicker consistency after it sets up, and it's easier to build, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then we're going to put our noodles down. I'm going to have to cut some more. See how we go with these. I'm thinking I'm just going to set them in the center maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, I guess, huh? I don't know. I think I might, if I have enough, I think I'm going to build that at the end. So then you'll take one and you'll cut it down the middle, like so, and try to piece that. Let me see. I don't know that I got a whole one in there, but anyway, we're just making the best of it today. Just set that in there, just enough to cover it. Okay, and then you're going to take your mixture, your ricotta cheese mixture, and what I do is I just kind of place it on there, just a little on there, like so. And then I have a little offset spatula that I bought at a kitchen store. This is the handiest thing, and you just smooth that out in there. Just smooth it out good over the noodles. And if you feel like you need to add a little bit more, you go ahead. It's kind of, you have to just kind of think about it because you're trying to judge, because you're doing, you're doing 2 stacks and you don't want to overdo. So you'll have plenty, but then you're like, that don't look like much. So you do a little more. Okay. Now, that looks better. And then you're going to take your mozzarella cheese. I have a 4-cup bag. I usually use about 3 cups, and then this one's open, so we probably use most all of this bag. But I usually total in a 9 by 12 or 9 by 13 pan, I usually use about 3 cups. So we're splitting it in half. So we'll probably use all of this bag. And you just generously put it on there, because my family are cheese fans and they love a cheesy lasagna. So we try to make that happen for everybody. And it's to your liking, guys. And if you want to get the Italian blend instead of mozzarella, you can. I used to buy the Italian blend a lot, but it seems like sometimes I buy 4 to 8 cup bags, and if you buy in bulk, mozzarella is what that comes in. So you just kind of have to, and if you buy in bulk, it's cheaper, and that's what I've been doing a lot of here lately to save money on food. All right, so then you're just going to sprinkle some Parmesan on there. All right, and then we're going to go with the next layer. We're going to go back with some sauce. On both. And this will feed a lot of people, guys, and you can easily double this recipe if you needed to. I mean, it just feeds a lot of people. If you make a 9 by 13 pan of lasagna and have salad and bread with it, you're probably going to be able to feed about 6 to 8 people with that. And then, of course, if you double it, it's going to be, 12 to 15 people with that. So it feeds quite a bit, especially if you pair it with a salad, because it goes further, because you're just not eating pasta. And what my family likes, is they like to get, we'll do that and have some Texas toast. They like the garlic Texas toast, or you can buy the garlic bread in your freezer section. That's a loaf that you bake. But a lot of times, if I know I'm making lasagna that day and I need bread that day, I'll go to the clearance section, because they have like day-old bread on sale, and you can get that stuff for like $1 a loaf at Walmart. And they bake in it. You're going to be cooking it that day, so you don't have to worry about it going bad. So that's what I do a lot of times. I'll go over there at look and see what they have on their day-old bread at Walmart, because it will be marked down. All right, let's go to the next one. This one. All right. Figuring right along here, guys. But any kind of pasta is a huge hit at our house, and you can always feed a lot of people with pasta. I know people that are health conscious, they're like, oh, I can't eat that many carbs, it's hard on me and all that. But, when you got a family and you have children, or you're wanting to entertain, this is just good. I think that was the best choice for me to do. I didn't do that last time. I did the smaller piece, but I'll get it right this time. All right, let's try that. Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, now, there's that. And then we're going to go with our mixture this time. Put that on there. Like I said, at the bottom, I kind of start out a little skimpier, because I want to make sure I don't run out of this stuff. On the top layer, you want to make sure everything's evenly distributed. Let me get a spoon so I can get that out a little bit better. There we go. Smooth that out with our spatula. Get it all the way to the edge if you can. Now, there's been times when I've been short on like white cheese, mozzarella, or Italian blend, and I've just mixed a little bit of cheddar in with it. And it's pretty good. The kids like it. And to spice things up from time to time, you can put little pepperonis on the top and bake pepperonis on it. My family is not crazy about that method, but they will eat it like that. But some kids would enjoy that because they like pepperoni pizza. So, all right, that looks about perfect. And I'm going to sprinkle some more Parmesan cheese on there. Okay, and then I'm going to top it with the rest of the shredded cheese. This one's getting filled up. It's a little more shallow than this other one, but I think I'll be okay with it. Let's get the rest of that out. All right, and you kind of just have to work with your hands on this, and my hands are clean. I washed them before we got started. Sometimes your hands are your best instruments to use when you are cooking. You can get things done better. I know everybody has proper etiquette and stuff, but where I come from, if you're clean, you can make it work. Okay. All right, guys. Now, there's my 2 lasagnas. Now, this one, like I said, we're going to eat this week. This one I'm going to cover with foil, and I'm going to put it in the freezer, and I will label it. I don't have a family that I know of that needs a meal. If they did, I would share that with them and put the baking instructions on the top. Now, cooking this week, I'm going to put this in a 400-degree oven. I'm going to cover it with foil, and I'm going to bake it for 45 minutes. And then I'm going to take the foil off, and then I'm going to bake it for an additional 10 to 15 minutes. It just depends. You can tell because it's all, the sides are bubbly and the top's melty, and it gets a little bit brown on the top. Now, what I would suggest you do before you cover this with foil is spray the inside of the foil with nonstick cooking spray. So that way when it's baking, it will not stick, the cheese will not stick to your foil and ruin the top of your lasagna. So let me grab some foil real quick and we'll see what we can do with that. I'll be right back. Okay, let me move this over here. Ooh, put that knife on my body. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Everybody was asking what's the difference between the shiny side and the dull side. I don't know. I always put the dull side down normally, but I don't think there's any significance to it. But I'm gonna spray this really good with cooking spray, and I'm gonna put that on there. So when it's baking later this week, it will not stick. My cheese won't stick, and I'll be able to pull that foil off and then get the rest of that cooked, okay? All right, there's that one. And like I said, I'm gonna do the freezer one the same way. And lasagna can be heavy, be careful. And a lot of times when I bake in these little dishes, I usually put like a sheet pan or something under it when I bake so it won't fold up on me when it's hot in the oven. Get that one sprayed. All right, and I'm gonna do the same on this. I can scoot everything over. And I'm gonna pull this one as tight as I can because I'm gonna try to put it in the freezer. I'm gonna try to pull it so it won't. There we go. All right, guys. And there you have it, homemade lasagna. Listen, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Meals with Marsha, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye-bye.